Well, here at the 2014 Nebraska Soybean Management Field Days, joined now by UNL, a public policy specialist, Dr. Brad Lubben. Brad, you're talking, boy, not only marketing, but try to utilize this latest farm bill and to your advantage. So what are you telling them, guys?
Right. Well, the first lesson is to wait, be patient. We have to wait for rules and program implementation to start here, but producers have some big decisions in front of them. They have a base and yield decision coming up fairly soon. We expect here maybe late September into October. They have a program decision between the new ARC versus PLC to come up sometime after harvest, maybe into early 2015.
You know, we're hearing reports that Secretary Vilsack is kind of delaying some of these things because it is so mammoth, and we were already delayed a little bit. But again, we remind producers the big thing is once you sign up in the program, you're there for the duration.
That's right. That's right. There's certainly a significant question and decision here to make, and FSA has to roll these rules out before they can come up with implementation, before they can open a sign up. They've been dealing with livestock disaster assistance applications early after the passage of the Farm Bill. They've got a lot of work to do to get this new decision in place, but this decision for producers is important. The base and yield is a one-time decision. The last time we had a chance to talk about base and yield update was 2002. The next time we get to talk about it, I don't know. It's worth thinking about now to make sure you have the right choice ahead. And then the program, ARC versus PLC, revenue versus price. It's a one-time decision for 2014 through 2018. It's important to get it right.
Do you think with what we've seen with this correction, as some people call, in the soybean market, oil, corn, regardless, these corrections we've seen, are you talking to folks and maybe are wanting to make some real quick decisions?
Well, it might be tempting to think that lower prices in the last 6 months means that we're on a lower price trough for the next 5 years. Does that change your decision? Well, had we looked at this when the Farm Bill passed in February, for a typical Midwestern producer, corn and soybeans, some wheat, some sorghum, it sure looked like the revenue safety net overwhelmed everything else, because even with an increase in the price safety net, it still wasn't at a level to provide much help. With lower prices, suddenly that price safety net is relevant. It's not yet in the money for soybeans and even for corn, but it's nearing the money, which means you're trading off how much protection do you get in a moving average revenue guarantee versus how much protection do you get in a fixed price guarantee. And right now that's an important trade-off. Fortunately, we have a little bit of time to sort this out. We have some good decision tools on the way to help producers think about it, but it's going to be an important analysis to make.
Let's talk about where we are right now. We're at Soybean Management Field Days. I'm sure a lot of guys, as they look, probably priced a lot of this crop already. But gosh, with all the grain still left out in the country, something's got to give.
Well, you're right.
I guess it has maybe a little bit already.
In terms of looking at the market outlook and realizing that we've sort of been pricing in expectations of larger supplies to come with good acreage numbers, with good crop progress and condition numbers. Today's reports come in slightly under maybe the trade forecast, but still not bullish, at least in terms of market sentiment. It suggests that the market is expecting we're going to have plenty of supply. One of the questions is, how are you going to price that supply? Some of it's already priced, some of it is sitting yet in unpriced. Some of last year's crop is sitting in the bin for producers unpriced. We've got some significant challenges ahead of us here in dealing with, and I heard it described very well, this is the first time in several years that our marketing decisions could be the difference between profit and no profit.
It's amazing that we're already to that point again. Side note, let's ask quickly, there's a lot of concern out there about what's going on overseas, especially in the Ukraine and Russia and that situation. You're getting kind of two different stories as far as the impact on the markets. Many people say it's not going to have a big impact, but others are saying, we still don't know yet. Is there unneeded concern out there?
Well, there's a lot of uncertainty, and that adds volatility to the market, even if it ultimately doesn't have a huge impact. The Ukraine uncertainty and unrest, the perceived Russian intervention and sort of stimulating the unrest, that hurts potential Ukrainian production potential. We imagine it does, but yet we seem to find that production is still happening, that market supply is still there. Now, the most recent decision after sanctions that were applied to Russia in sort of response to the Ukraine unrest, and now Russia's applied some trade bans on imports as sort of a retaliation for that. The ultimate global supply-demand impacts of that may not be big. Russian consumers hurt worse than the rest of the world, but Russia will do it for political reasons. The net impact to producers for some commodities, it's important, but it's become a smaller and smaller chunk. And one of the bigger headlines was, so Russia won't import from Europe or the U.S. Brazil's ready to fill the bill. Well, okay, so Brazil, we don't really reduce trade, we just shift it around, and Brazil will fill that ship, and somebody else will fill another ship instead. So the ultimate net supply-demand impact maybe not as big as feared, but the uncertainty certainly doesn't help.
All right, Brad, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ken.
Dr. Brad Lubben, UNL Public Policy Specialist, joining us from the Soybean Management Field Days near Auburn. For AgView, I'm Ken Rahjes.